Good afternoon and welcome on board with not only Brian this afternoon but also James. James is coming out to learn the tricks of the camera trade, and as I mentioned this morning, for those of you who were on the AM Safari, myself as well as Brent and James will be doing some camera work over the next 2 weeks as we search for another cameraman to help out our growing crew here at Wild Earth in Djuma. Anyway, it's a wonderful winter's afternoon, and as normal, blue skies, quite warm. It's probably around 25 degrees Celsius. I'm not sure exactly what that equates to in Fahrenheit, but fairly warm still. And the plan is to initially head off to a waterhole and see if there's anything drinking there. Thereafter, we're going to be following up on a young male leopard who we were lucky enough to spend some time with this morning. We also got to see his mother, Shadow, and followed them for about an hour, half an hour to an hour. It was an incredibly beautiful sighting, and who knows, maybe we'll be able to replay something similar this afternoon. So, without further ado, let's continue on. Brent and Andrew will be out a little bit later. Well, they're already out, and you will be heading across to their vehicle at some stage for an update. But for now, you're with us, and we're about 5 minutes away, not even, from Treehouse Dam. And on a warm afternoon like this, it'll be interesting to see if there are any visitors there drinking. What will also be interesting after this is getting into the area where we last saw Shadow's cub. We actually went back between drives to show some of the staff, like Eugene and Nikki, who are in the final control this afternoon, some of the animals in the flesh, as you could understand that simply watching from the control room all the time is not quite enough for them. So we did head there between drives, and he had moved ever so slightly actually onto the other side of the road to a property where we are not permitted to traverse, but he was very close to the road, and I'm sure he's going to be in and around that area. Failing finding him, we've got a good idea of which direction his mother headed in, and we could find her somewhere around the Arathusa airstrip. So there's a plan B in place already, but I won't be surprised if we get to a plan D or E later on, as the plans often change out here. Now, for those of you who may be joining for the first time, a very, very warm welcome. My name is Scott, and this is a live safari, so what you're seeing this very second is actually happening, which is hard to believe but true. And oh, look at this. No. Well, it's not uncommon for warthog to provide us with this view, their tail up as they trot off into the bush. And there we go, you saw the tail pop back down as soon as he stopped running. And you can't blame an animal like that for being very, very cautious around a waterhole. It is a place where animals know that they can be ambushed, especially small animals like warthog that are very close to the ground. The buffalo, on the other hand, couldn't care less of our presence or anything really, it appears, at this stage. And this one is focused on the task at hand, which is chewing the cud, which you can see him doing in a very relaxed and lazy manner. And no surprise to find a few large buffalo bulls here. They do frequent the waterholes, especially during the summer days. They tend to do the majority of their feeding at night time, and then spend their days relaxing at the waterholes waiting for things to cool down. It's very, very still and silent, and I can't even hear a bird calling, and that will be something that you will notice change as the afternoon progresses, and as things begin to cool down we can expect to see and hear a lot more animals. Now that's not always the case, but it's a general trend, and even in the mornings it's kind of a reverse. It starts off quite loud with a lot of bird call and more animal movements, and as it begins to get warmer it tends to quieten down. Now I must say I'm quite excited to get to the last position of Shadow's cub. He's a really pretty young male and he's only about 8 months old, so still relatively small. He'll probably triple in size, possibly even more than that by the time he's a fully mature adult. And it was probably 2.5 or 3 months ago that I saw him last. He was nestled up in a very scrambly branch of a knobthorn acacia, and his mother Shadow had hoisted an impala kill up into him now again a few months later, and see how he's matured and grown and how much more independent he is. He gets left for a longer period and helping us to find animals or anything interesting. Have got large horizontal branches. Try and squeeze into a little gap just to show you a few young male impala all relaxing in the shade, and I guess it will give you help give you an idea of the temperature we're experiencing at the moment, and also the actions of the impala. And I just got the official temperature. It's 28 degrees Celsius and 82, if I'm hearing correctly, degrees Fahrenheit. Now, all of these individuals would have been born roughly at the same time at the end of 2013, so they're just over a year old. Well, I guess coming on 1.5 years now, actually. Time's flying by. And I can tell that from their horn size. There is one larger male with them that I'll try and creep forward to show you, just so you can see the comparison between 1.5-year-olds and one that looks to be almost fully mature, which is probably around 4 years of age, but I'm going to have to move the vehicle to do that. Anyway, you get an idea of what the animal's plans are today, at this stage of the day at least, and that's to relax in the shade. The other male's obscured by so many bushes, so sadly we're not going to be able to show you that. Well, maybe. Oh no, it's a bit too thick, but Brian's going for it, so we're going to give him a chance. There we go. Oh, good work. You can actually see quite clearly there the difference in horn size, but maybe not quite fully mature. Good. And we are currently we're coming to the end of the rutting season, where impala will very intensely focus on mating. And we've managed to show you a little bit of it so far, but they seem to be romancing elsewhere, as I haven't had too much impala rutting action, or haven't seen much since I got back from leave. and it basically continues for about, and we'll get involved in that. And the fact that there was a bigger one there may lean to the fact that it could be a little bit younger and also not quite there, but still considerably larger than the others. Ready to greet all of you and give you an update of what he's been up to so far and his plans for the afternoon. So over to Brent, and we will catch up with you a little bit later.
Hi, welcome everyone. My name's Brent. I got Andrew on camera with me, and I know Scott's done the rest of the introductions already. So welcome to Djuma Private Game Reserve. We're heading now at the moment down towards the Twin Dams area. We're going to be checking all the water points, looking for some ellies this afternoon. Hopefully, it's been a nice hot day, so hopefully they'll be drinking. For those of you who might be new viewers, we are live, so you are seeing everything we see in the African bush in real time. Also, we are interactive, so you're able to ask us questions about what we're seeing, and you can do that by sending an email to questions@WildEarthTV, or use the hashtag SafariLive if you're on Twitter. Well, I'm always excited to get out, and I'm hoping we're going to find something interesting this afternoon. If not, there's lots of little things to look at, so there's never a dull drive out here in the bush. So I hope you guys enjoy, and welcome on the back of the vehicle with myself and Andrew today. So I saw earlier it's about 30 degrees, which is around 83 or 84 Fahrenheit if my memory serves correctly. So a nice winter's day for us out here in the Lowveld. We're in Djuma Private Game Reserve, which is within the Sabi Sands Game Reserve, which forms part of the Greater Kruger National Park, which is over 4 million acres of unfenced wilderness for animals to roam. And so, an amazing part of the world to be in, and I get excited every time I get to go out and drive. You never know what might be around the next corner. So on Djuma itself, we've been going through a bit of a leopard drought at the moment. Not to say the leopards aren't here, we've just been struggling to find them. There's also been quite a lot of strange tracks and interactions that have been going on. And I was having a chat to a friend of mine who's a guide at one of the other lodges, and we both agree that possibly this new male that's coming in from the southwest is causing a lot of this sort of the moment. So it's going to be an interesting couple of months ahead to see what happens. I also hear my friend James has been saying some things. He said he wants to have a Brent beating photograph, but I think poor James has a long way to go before that happens. And if you have a look at his camera, it's quite small, just like him. He's very small in stature, so we need to give him a chance sometimes. But other than that, we're very excited to have James on the team. I'm about to go through a dip, so there might be a little bit of signal breakup, so I'm just going to keep quiet as we go through here. we go, we're out of the dip. Just so everyone knows and no one gets a surprise next week, we are going to be trying out a few other presenters during next week, so don't get a fright if you log in and you see someone different. It's always exciting to get new people. We can always learn a lot from each other. So just to give you a bit of forewarning before you sort of pop on to look for Scott, James and myself and you see a new face. Because it's quite warm, a lot of your herbivores are going to be resting in the shade, particularly the ruminants. But as it cools down, I'm quite sure we'll see a few animals moving out. And I'm hoping to find some elephants today around the water holes. Feels like I haven't seen a nice big herd of elephants for a while. And as always, I'll be checking for tracks of any of the predators. So still, not even a bird chirping. Approaching another one of these drainage lines where the signal can dip as I cross through, so I'll be quiet again for a few seconds, but I'll move through as quickly as possible. Approaching the water now, and as I get there, I'm just going to switch off. I'm going to listen because the elephants might have either already drunk and moved off. Always important to listen to what the bush is telling you. But judging from what I can see, it doesn't look like any elephants have been down here. When elephants drink, they tend to make quite a mess and splash water and mud all over the place. But still, might be worth just listening to see if there are any on their way. And those old viewers out there know, when we listen, we put our hands over our ears, so we're like a kudu. And the only thing I heard was a fly. So it doesn't seem like much is happening here. So we're going to continue on and see what else is happening at possibly Buffalo's Hook Dam. I think will be our next port of call. We have a bird of prey coming in. of course, as soon as I stop, goes the other way. Let's try to get forward a little bit past these little baby leadwoods. Here we go. Now, most of our regulars will know this bird quite well. Even from this long distance sighting, they'll be able to identify it. So I'm just going to say what it is. It is a batalier. But now I'm going to check if anyone's actually been listening to me while we've been on drive. Who can remember what a batalier means and how a batalier got its name? What does the word batalier mean, and what language does it originate in? And you can send your answers to questions at WildEarthTV or use the hashtag Safari Live on Twitter. Incredible eyesight on those birds. They're often the first birds to find a carcass or a fresh kill, and vultures will often follow them around. I've seen quite funny situations where a batalier has landed for a drink at a pan like this, and the vultures have just seen the batalier dip or to a little puddle during the wet season, and then 5 or 6 big white-backed vultures sort of whoop, and they're like, oh, but where's the meat? And the batalier's just there having a little drink out of a pan. But really, really incredible eyesight. So let's see who can get the answer through to how a batalier got its name and where it got its name from. And remember to send your answers to questions at WildEarth.tv or use the hashtag Safari Live on Twitter. I am being murdered by the flies at the moment. They are just attacking me. So I'm going to move away from the dam where they obviously are missing the normal buffalo bulls that are residents in the area. So guys, Scott's been working hard and I think he's managed to pull a rabbit out of the hat for you. So I'm going to cross over to Scott quickly and we'll be back with you later in the drive. Enjoy.
Okay, well, welcome back everyone, and we thought we'd try something a little bit different there with a slightly blurred beginning. But look at what a beautiful animal this is, and our luck continues. We have managed to find this young male leopard, and I think he's just repositioning. We caught him lying on the fringe of a shady area, and as the sun moves throughout the day, leopards will reposition themselves. And when we found him here earlier today, he was on the other side of the termite mound, and he may continue to shift around. But before he does that, it looks like he's going to have some grass, and just like domestic cats and dogs, they will sometimes you just have to take whatever it is you can get, and for us this afternoon it was just a little glimpse of him, but that could change as it cools down, so don't you worry. We will certainly be coming back here a little bit later. And I'm very fortunate. Oh, Brian's just seen him moving now. Where's he moving to? Back. Okay. Well, let's stay with him for a while and see where he decides to move to. It's certainly not going to be the first time that a leopard's proved my predictions wrong. And I'm just going to try and position the vehicle in a way such that James and Brian have got a decent chance of filming him. It really isn't easy in this thick vegetation. And there we go, wonderful. Now, if he does cross back over the road towards us, then we'll be able to stay with him. Failing that, we'll probably have to leave him. But let's give it a few moments and decide what his plans are. Like I say, it's very thick, so there's not much we can do about it from now. Let me see if I can reposition the vehicle again, because he's hiding behind. Oh, here he comes. Anyway, let me carry on moving, turn the vehicle around. We're going to need to do it at some stage. And thankfully there's an Arethusa vehicle on their way here. We've got no radio comms with anyone at the moment, so at least we're going to be able to share the sighting with whoever it is. Looks like it could be Roy. Oof. I think we may just be able to get a glimpse of him through a gap just up ahead here, but like I say, it's very, very thick. So for now we won't be able to see anything, but let's just be patient. He is hiding somewhere in this thick vegetation. He's just sitting down in the sun at the moment, or the last I saw of him, and I'm guessing he's not going to stay put in the sun very long. Let me get out my binoculars and see if that helps me to establish exactly what he's up to. Well, it's testament to how good their camouflage is. Even though I know roughly where he was last sitting, I don't have even the slightest glimpse of him. What I'm going to try and do though is reverse a little bit and see if that doesn't help allow Brian to get an angle to show you this beautiful animal. I remember seeing one little gap that could work out for us. No luck, Brian. How's it, Paul?
Good, how are you?
Very good.
Yeah.
So Brian's going to have to practice some very tight camera work between all of the guests in the vehicle next to us. And it may just work out. How are you doing, Roy?
I'm good, and you?
Yeah, very good, thanks. Are you happy to see me this afternoon?
Yes.
Very good. It's just to the left of Roy's head, Brian, I think.
Sorry.
Somewhere. No, you fine there. Or am I dreaming?
No, I see him. I can see him. Scott, maybe I'm going to try to go around there.
Oh, there it is. You slap bang in the middle, Brian. You got him. Well, isn't you good there, Roy? That's perfect. Hello, everyone.
Oh, yeah.
Hi. Right at the top of the mark.
He's in the center of the shot, just at the top of the screen. There you go. Well, again, folks, isn't it just incredible to see how good their camouflage is? And we're going to leave Roy here to enjoy the sighting and keep an eye on this young cub for us, and hopefully he'll come closer onto Arethusa, which will allow us to get a bit closer to him and view him, as where he's currently lying is, again, not a property that we can traverse. But we've had a great view of him already, and that was just a great opportunity for us to show you how good their camouflage is. Roy?
Yeah.
Enjoy? Sorry, my radio is not working.
No, no problem.
I've tried. Have a good afternoon, everyone. We'll see you later. Well, that's not a bad way to start off the afternoon, I think. And very, very happy that we've allowed to not only share that beautiful animal with you, but also with Roy and his guests. And it's such an important part of the safari experience, sharing sightings with fellow guides, because if it was just us out here alone, we wouldn't have joined that sighting this morning if it wasn't for Lee finding that leopard and letting us know on the radio that at that stage was working. Now it's not working too well. If it wasn't for Lee's help, none of us would have experienced what we got to see this morning, as well as already what we've seen this afternoon. Now, plan B is to head off in search of his mother. And she was heading straight in this direction on the right of the road that we're traveling on now, but heading straight south. And we're going to have to look very, very closely on this road that we're now driving down to see if her tracks did in fact cross and whereabout they did cross. The tricky thing about this road is that it's a main access road into Arathusa, and there may have been, I'm guessing, 5 or 10 vehicles, at least. Roy's definitely one of them, who's already driven this road, and the more vehicles that drive any given road, the less sign and the less tracks are left behind for us to see. I guess what's in our favor this afternoon is that we've got James on the back as well, so he is keeping his eyes peeled on the road as we drive past for any sign of the tracks. So not only is he learning the ways of the camera, but he's also helping us out in searching for anything of interest. Anything of it. So now James is just going to jump off for a closer inspection, and I'll leave him to it. I trust his skills and abilities, and it seems like it's all hyena or old tracks. So thanks, James, for that, and we will continue now. Now again, it's important to remember that simply because we haven't seen the tracks crossing already, it doesn't mean she didn't cross. We saw this morning she crossed, well, she came onto the road at 3 different points over a period of about a mile of movements. 2 of the roads she crossed directly over from left to right. So imagine the chances of seeing just 2 or 3 tracks of her crossing a road, especially when a road's busy. The other road she spent about 20 or 30 meters on before veering back into the bush. You wouldn't believe this, but I've just got a question through from somebody called David Dyson. Now, my name's Scott Dyson, and that makes him my father. So, hello, Dad. I hope you're well. And thanks very much for sending your question through. My father's interested to know whether any of the waterholes in the Sabi Sands are fed water during the winter months, which are our drier months of the year. We get summer rainfall here. And yes, they are indeed, not all of them, but certain waterholes will have water pumped into them at the discretion of the various landowners. It's all privately owned land here in the Sabi Sands, and even though we are open to a government-owned national park, the landowners in this area have the ability to do certain things that they would like to do because it is their land. They do, though, in the same breath, have to adhere to certain regulations, and that was an agreement made when the Sabi Sands was opened up to the Kruger Park. So the fence that used to create a boundary between us and the Kruger was dropped, and that was dropped in about 94 or 96. James, am I wrong? 94. Thanks. So we've been open to the Greater Kruger National Park for, what's that, 11 years now, and there are certain rules now that landowners do have to abide by because we are open to a national park. 21 years, thank you. My abacus is a bit rusty. Thanks for that help. Now, still no sign of any tracks, but something that I guess we could say we've learnt about this female leopard is that, as her name suggests, she likes to move like a shadow and can sometimes be tricky to track down. And a large reason for that is because she may be less likely to walk on roads than other leopards, which is strange because for me it's just a natural highway that you would move down because it's the path of least resistance. But judging from her behavior this morning, and we haven't seen too much of her in general, she doesn't like spending much time on the road. That's not to say she's not very close nearby. Well, we're going to slowly continue patrolling this area, and we'll be sure to keep you updated on what's going on with the pursuit of Shadow's, well, Shadow's cub's mother, Shadow herself, the cub that we've just seen's mother. And in the meantime, Brent's over at another waterhole, and we will see you later. Dad, thanks for the question, and hope you enjoyed the safari this afternoon.
Welcome back, everyone. We're just trying to get a nice view of this raptor that's flying around. Unfortunately, he's flying very close to the where the sun is, so quite difficult to see. We're hoping he moves out to the right here. Oh, I can't see. Where's he gone? Oh, he's coming out just the other side of the tree. Oh, he's not going to make it easy to identify like that. Oh, there we go. Gone. No, maybe pop out again. Nope. Well, it's not going to be easy to see what it is, so I'm not going to try test you guys. That one would be very difficult. I had a much better view of it a bit earlier. It was an African harrier hawk, or a gymnogene. As you can see, we're at Buffalo's Hook Dam, and there's a herd of impala just departing behind those buffalo bulls there. This came down for a drink, and we've got probably about 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, a few more, probably about 15 to 20 buffalo bulls and a hippo.
Alrighty, well, the people who got it right was on Twitter. The first one's in, Donna, Lisa, and Charlie. And email, the first one's in were Tina and Joanne and Diane. And they all speak in French and Spanish.
Well done, Donna, Lisa, and Charlie, and Joanne, Diane, Donna, and Diane. well done, guys. They were the first to get that question about the bateleur right. It is a French word, which means acrobat or tightrope walker. There was a lot more people that got it right, so well done to everyone, but those were just the first in. And the reason they got this name is because, watch carefully the next time, I'll definitely try to find another one for you guys to see. But when they fly, because they've got such a short tail, it always looks like they're balancing, so like a tightrope walker. So very, very interesting bird. What we can do now, oh, there's a buffalo with one horn and a couple of oxpeckers present. Three red-billed oxpeckers. Very old gentleman. It's not uncommon to see a buffalo with a single horn. I've even seen one with no horns, just the bosses. All these buffalo bulls sort of chewing the cud, ruminating down near the water. During on and off the day, they will spend quite a bit of time in the water, cooling off and bathing in the mud. I just want to go have a quick look around in that little inlet to see if there are any wallowing. Nope. I'm pretty sure that's the one we saw a couple of days ago with the wound on the tail. Let's see if I can actually have a look what might have caused that now. It was very difficult to get a decent view last time. Oh no. You can see he's a little bit less relaxed than the other bulls. Just wait for him to turn around again. And it's bleeding quite a lot. You probably find that wound has been opened by oxpeckers even more than it would be normally. I'm going to try to slide forward to the side a little bit. See, now this is quite important when approaching animals, especially one that might be injured like that. You don't want to ever approach straight onto them. You want to sort of drive at oblique angles. It's far less threatening and it makes them feel a lot more comfortable. You can see, there he is, he's turned around now again. I mean, it is possible that is from lions, but I'm not seeing any other definite scratch marks and stuff that could have been caused by lions. It could just be from a horn or an abscess there, but I'm pretty sure what's keeping that wound open and bloody is the oxpeckers. So they do feed off blood, and for some animals that have got injuries, they can be quite a pain because they'll keep pecking that open, and they've got quite sharp teeth. They've got little sort of razored edges on them that they use to prune for ticks through the animal's hair and pull them off, so they can do quite a bit of damage. Hopefully, there we go, he turns around. Can't really see it yet, but here you can see he's in quite a foul mood. Oh, there we go. Yeah, very difficult to say what made that cut. And the oxpecker is heading in, and you can see they might go straight for that open wound. There we go, into the open wound. So I'm pretty sure they were keeping it open. They've probably made it bigger as well. You can see he's in a very bad mood. He's not a buffalo bull I'd like to walk into while tracking an animal on foot. That's for sure. Oh, off he goes. We've got a Birchall starling that's just landed. So, I think it might have been yesterday's Sunset Safari, when we got asked the difference between a Burchell starling and a Cape Glossy starling. And one of the more distinct things was something to do with the face. So you can remember what are the main differences between a Burchell starling and a Cape Glossy starling. You can send your answers through to questions at WildEarthTV, or you can use the hashtag SafariLive on Twitter. There, Andrew's found a little 3-banded plover, little aquatic bird, always found in association with water points. Hi Gail, welcome on the Sunset Safari. Gail would like to know, are the buffalo horns so heavy that they are continuously fighting with the weight? Well, Gail, not really. Only when they get much older and start losing condition does the weight of those horns actually become a bit of an issue. And they go up around so we can get on the other side of the sun so it doesn't blind us while we have a look at these other buffalo and the hippo. Gail, we'll have a closer look now. I'm going to just move around to where we can have a good view. A buffalo is designed to carry horns of that weight, massive shoulder muscles and chest muscles. So I wouldn't say it's too much of a problem while they're in good condition, only as they get older. There you go, you can see a few more around here now. And you can see they're not sitting with their heads on the ground. And they do, you can even see that massive bulge just behind his head there. And that is, I mean, huge muscles and strength in that neck. I mean, look as he stands up there. I mean, look how thick their neck is. Look at those bulging shoulder muscles. So he's definitely designed to be able to carry that heavy sort of skull cap, and it's an important tool for a buffalo. I mean, it's a defensive weapon against predators, and it's also a very important weapon against other buffalo when competing for mating rights in the breeding herds. You can hear a bird alarm calling. I'm just going to have a quick look there. Quite upset. Maybe there's a snake or other little predator. Oh, here's that Burchell's starling again next to us. Have a really good look. Oh, and off he disappears. Great. See if there's anything to eat around the buffalo. Oh, look, there's a little African pied wagtail also there, moving out towards the right now. Hi, Lisa. Welcome on Sunset Safari. Lisa's worried that, and would like to know whether the predators will be able to smell the blood on that buffalo's tail. Lisa, if they were very close by, but I think the majority of these buffalo bulls will have some form of wound that will bleed at some point. I don't think it's a big problem for the buffalo. But we're going to continue on here from Buffalo's Hook Dam. It's been nice spending some time with the old men, but let's go try and find something that's a little bit more lively. dropped a little, not much, but definitely a little. So a little bit more comfortable now. I think it's going to be a spectacular sunset this evening. Well done to Julia and Diane and Joan and Elaine, who were the first to deal with that starling question. And they were 100% right. Well, 1 second, let me just find the starlings. 100% right. The Birchall's has a dark face mask and a black eye, whereas the Cape Glossy has a bright orange eye. Am I very blind? Why can I not see a starling? I must be. Oh my goodness. Must be going mad. Very strange. Can you see a starling, Andrew?
It's a negative.
Anyway, I know more or less where they are in the book. So we'll do it the cheating way. There we go. So there we go. A Cape Glossy starling. A bright orange eye, and it's got no facial mask. Also a lot more green in colouring. Sort of very green in colouring, and then we look at the too far. The Birchall's, that very distinct black face mask and black eye, but also with quite a lot more blue on it. Also, they are quite a lot bigger than a Cape Glossy with a much longer tail. But well done, guys. And now, I mean, if you listen, there's literally not a noise at the moment. It is dead still. Apart from the flies buzzing around my face. It's amazing that, you know, this whole place is filled with life, but after this hot day, there's just absolute still. I mean, there's barely a breath of wind. Incredible. Not even an insect making a noise now that we're heading into the dry season. There are insects, obviously, have dropped in number, but they are still around, but it's definitely going to be a lot harder to find them. Wow. Got a cloud in the sky. Boys, I completely, there are some insects around. They're all buzzing around my head. I think we picked them up after visiting the old buffalo gentleman at the dam. So, I know it's one of those afternoons, but it's still wonderful to be out here and have you guys along on safari with me. So, whoopsie, I'm going to hand it on to you guys. What would you like to talk about or have a quiz about? and you let me know whether you'd like it about insects or trees or birds or frogs, or you can even do more general mammals or elephants or whatnot. We can see if we can chat about it if you have some questions, or we can have a quiz if you'd like that. And just let me know via email. You can do that to questions@WildEarthTV, or use the hashtag Safari Live on Twitter. Hi Pamela, welcome on the Sunset Safari. Pamela would like to know, how far is the Kruger from the Sabi Sands in Mozambique? Well Pamela, the Kruger actually borders the Sabi Sands. From where we're sitting now, the Kruger National Park is probably less than 3 miles, about 5 kilometers from here. And from Mozambique, it depends on the area of the Kruger as it varies in width. But I would say at most from the Kruger, from where we're sitting right now, is probably, as the crow flies, at the furthest, probably about 80 kilometers, or between 70 and 80 kilometers, directly east. And the Kruger's got an incredibly long boundary with Mozambique, so obviously it varies in different areas, but from here it's about 80 kilometers would be my guess. Pretty sure, between 70 and 80 kilometers. Just stopping and listening again, it's just so incredibly quiet. Had no sign of elephants, which I was hoping we might meander through the water holes to find. So I think we need to head to the west. See if you guys, any of the zoomies, can help me out there. Is there anything happening at the Djuma camera? Because we were planning on heading that way, so maybe you guys can help me out. So zoomies, let me know what's happening at the Djuma camera. You can do that by using the hashtag Safari Live on Twitter, or just dropping us an email at questions@wildearth.tv. For those of you who might be new, a zoomie is someone who operates the waterhole cameras, and they're able to control and zoom, and we're very lucky. They do an amazing job keeping their eyes on those cameras, and for us, and they often let us know if there's a leopard at the dam or whatnot, we can shoot there. So whatever we may find. We also are interactive, so you can send us questions, and you can do that by emailing us on questions@wildearth.tv, or use the hashtag Safari Live on Twitter. From Boston. I hope you get better soon. Marianne would like to know whether we've seen quarantine or Kunuma since they shed that kill to the south of us. we haven't, and I've chatted to some of the other guides and they haven't seen them either. It is probably, we might see them again, but there is a likelihood they have gone their way now, and will be sneaking around the edge of other male leopards' territories till they're old enough to challenge for their own. Geology in this area. Well, Michelle, it's a relatively simple area from a geology point of view. We're mostly on granite and quartz soils, interspersed with what is called Timbervati gabbro. Timbervati gabbro, we have, I think, almost zero gabbro in this area, so we're mostly all on granite soils here. So that's why we have this mixed woodland, broadleaf woodland, dominated by combretum or bush willow species. The gabbro, which you get to the south and to the east of us, is a sort of a black cotton soil, so it can get very thick mud during the summer months, and that is more open and grasslands. So the majority of the Sabi sands is either on granite or gabbro, and that's pretty much the geology of this area. It is quite a basic geology area. I'm sure there is a bit more into it, and I definitely should read up a bit more on my geology. I think that's a good quest for the week coming. But as far as I've been taught, and I know that it is mostly granite and quartz, which is what we are now. And actually, let me have a look. Here we got some quartz here. There we go, you can see there's some quartz. Actually, I'm going to put it on the dashboard, much easier to see. You can see the little crystals and the sun shining on them there. You can see that one's been broken a bit more. So this is the quartz. And you guys better remind me a little bit later when it's dark, because then I can beat them together, and we can even sometimes get a spark when we do it. So I'm going to have to do this after dark though. But if we take the two quartz stones together, I'm actually going to try and find some bigger ones. It'd be quite funny to do it with these. But if you beat them together like this, whoopsie, you'll get a spark, and you can actually smell that there's been sort of a combustion there. So it smells almost like burnt hair when you hit them together. So I must definitely, I'll keep a lookout for some bigger pieces, and then after dark I'll hit them together and maybe we'll be able to see the spark. I'll keep those two just in case we don't find any, those three just in case we don't find any bigger pieces. But hopefully I'll keep my eye open for some, and we can definitely try and make a spark after dark. Is that funny, Andrew? me, we've got a bit of swelling around his eye. And there's a lot of speculation to what caused that. I think it was possibly, there's 3 different ways it could have been caused. One is having a territorial fight with another male, and that would have been from a sort of a big slap with enough power to burst a blood vessel. The second could have been from mating. Leopard mating is quite violent. The male's penis is barbed, so as he dismounts, it hurts the female quite badly, and they often will turn around and try hit the male leopard. So it could have been a smack from a female, and then the third, and probably most possible out of the 3 at the moment, is that he injured it while taking down prey species. He could have got a kick to the side of the head from an impala. Even a small animal like a duck or a stembok can inflict an injury like that. And there's a lot of questions on, will we intervene? Will someone help? It's difficult to see an animal in pain or suffering. Well, out here, no, we won't intervene. We'll let nature take its course. The only time we would intervene is if the damage to the animal is caused by humans. So say a snare, someone hit an animal with a car, swallowed a plastic bag, or plastic bag got stuck, something like that. Oh, sorry guys, I'm about to go through, let me just actually finish this off before I go through the bad signal spot. So we would never intervene in that situation. That is nature taking its course. And I know it is quite hard and tough to see sometimes. And it's really, really hard from our point of view not to put human emotions into this. But we must remember there are wild animals, and we are privileged to watch them in what they do. But we are not here to intervene. We are here to observe. So we would not get involved in that at all. We would watch as observers what would happen. Personally, I don't think it's a major injury. I think probably by the next time we see it, his eye would have cleared up. It's just a burst blood vessel and a bit of swelling. So I don't think it's a major threat to his life or his life or him defending his territory from another male. I'm quite sure he's still got good vision out of that eye. So I hope that helps answer that. So I'm about to pop through quite a deep drainage line. There is a possibility we might have a little bit of signal breakup. So just bear with me and I'll try and move through it as fast as possible. Well, there we go. Popped through the drainage line. Updates from the Djuma waterhole camp. There's just some buffalo bulls and some inyala. Thanks very much, everyone. I really do appreciate that. That gives us the chance to focus our intentions on somewhere different. So thanks a lot for that. And keep me updated if anything interesting arrives. No, I know. Here's a tree I have not done with you guys before. It is a really nice tree. I really do like the family. If we have a look. Oh, and there are some green pigeons in the back feeding by the looks of things as well. So not only do we have a nice tree, we've got a little bird party here as well. So do you see the pigeons, Andrew?
Up top, yeah.
Up top, yeah. There we go. Not the best view of them. A little bit to the right, I think. We'll drop a bit in center shot now. Zoom. And yeah, there we go. Not the best view of a green pigeon, but we're not looking at the pigeons, we're looking at the tree. So let's have a look at the the tree. A very, very, oh, there's a crested barbet as well, popping around. Very, very cool tree, I think, personally. Very distinct leaves and pods, and it resembles an acacia in its shape quite often. And that's one of the clues to where it gets its name from. And also, very, very beautiful. I really do like these trees. So, it is quite an interesting tree. Not one, I don't know, maybe Mark would have shown this tree to you in the past. But and then we go some of the bark. It's been eaten by elephants a little bit, so let's look at the higher bark, and it's better for an identification purposes. So have a look. I'm going to get Andrew to zoom in on the pods, and it looks like it's still in flower as well. We might get some nice insects around here as well. So have a careful look at this tree. It is quite a difficult one. But I'm hoping someone out there is going to be able to get it. Let me just find it in my book. So it's a big tree that can get very big. They resemble acacias sometimes, and that's where part of the clue in what the family is. So who can tell me which tree this is? And you can send your answers to questions at WildEarthTV, or you can use the hashtag Safari Live on Twitter. Very, very cool tree. Sorry, I just thought I heard something walking up behind me, but it was nothing. So while we wait for a few answers about this tree, I'll tell you a little bit about the traditional uses for it. I'm going to try to see if we can zoom in on one of the broken branches. There's a broken branch there on the left. You got it there, Andrew? Let's try to see up a little bit. The freshly broken one. And you can just see there's a little sort of stream down the edge there. And that's low down. There we go, that one. And that's from gum. It produces a gum that was chewed traditionally, but it's said to be of not the best quality. So in Zululand, they use infusions of both hot and cold infusions of the bark and root, which they treat skin diseases such as scabies. Well, only a cold extract from roots alone, not with bark, is used to treat inflamed eyes. The bark is poisonous, but it is still used in a lot of traditional medicine. The Zulus make a love charm emetic from it. So basically, you have to throw up to prove your love by eating the love charm made from seeds. Are used to make a sauce to add flavor to meals. So apparently our first answer is in. Hi everyone, our first answers are coming in. Sausage tree. Sausage tree is not right. I'll keep going through what else it can be used for. In Botswana, the root and bark are used to make a soap substitute. But I'm going to let you guys, there's a few answers coming. A false mimosa. Rocky on Twitter. Oh, you guys are in the right zone. False mimosas or false thorns are better known as albizzias. But this particular one, is known as... Where's it gone now? I just keep moving the page. Oh, there we go. I was just trying to get there. Is Albizia adantifolia, which is a flat crown or a large flat crown false thorn. This one hasn't started spreading yet, but they do mimic mimosas or acacia trees. So really well done, guys. It's a really difficult tree. Really well done. Sure, I thought I was going to have to wait a bit longer for an answer, but I've just been put in my place. So we'll continue on, see what else we can find. Whoopsie. That was a slip of the foot. Sometimes having long legs in these little cars can be a bit of a challenge. Diane, apparently there's guinea fowl and Hadida ibis alarm calling at Djuma. That could be interesting. It could just be a bird of prey flying over. But we are not too far, so maybe we'll go have a look there quickly, Diane. Who knows, there might be a leopard. While we make our way towards the Djuma waterhole camp to follow up on those alarm calls, we're going to cross over to Scotty and see what he's been up to, and we'll be back with you a little later in the drive.
Welcome back everyone, and I hope you've been having fun with Brent, and I know he sets out some different quite a few, sorry about these bumps, found quite a few of his tracks up and down this road. We think they're his tracks. There could also be tracks of a female, so who knows what's happened since we've been gone. All we know is that there's been change, and we are busy trying to establish what exactly has happened. Now, as you may have witnessed earlier, leopards can dissolve into this vegetation, and he could be lying just meters off the road without us knowing him being there. The only way to find out is to spend some time here snooping about, and who knows, maybe he'll just pop right on the road in front of us, or we may hear some alarm calls of animals that may see him. But I think it is definitely worth our while to spend a little bit more time in this area, slowly searching for him. Failing that, what we'll do is we'll probably move out of the area and come back here a little bit later once it's cooled down. Well, it's probably just my imagination, but I can see something in the road up ahead of us, and you wouldn't believe it, it's a bush. It's a green bush, far down on the left, that you can see over there, and it's not the leopard I was hoping it to be. It really is incredible, the power of your mind, and you can really twist and contort random inanimate objects into whatever it is you desire them to be. It is only, of course, a temporary thrill, as it doesn't take long to establish that you're in fact tricking yourself into seeing what you want to see. This is where the tracks start coming up and down. We left them just on our left-hand side a bit earlier, and the master track to go. We can travel anywhere on our right. Apologies, to the west, not to the east. The east is to our left, the west is to our right, and I've just got a feeling that we should go in here and snoop around. I've seen a little termite mound, there's a few big maruda trees. Likely places for a young leopard to hang out. But not guaranteed, that's for certain. Now, because we are having troubles with our radios, I'm going to ask Nikki in the final control to please ask Brent to see if he can get a hold of anyone from Arathusa and ask them, or ideally Roy, what exactly happened to this young male leopard. So, just how we helped the other vehicles get into the sighting this morning, it was James who was relaying the messages to them. Now Brent is going to have to try and help us out. Certain all these tracks we have seen on the road up and down here are from him after we left him with Roy, but we can't be certain of that. So what the plan is we are going to do one loop around this block just to try our luck, and failing that we will move off into a different area, see if there's anything else interesting happening, which I'm sure there is. It's just a matter of finding it, and then come back here a little bit later and see if we don't get lucky once it's cooled down a bit. Brent is trying his best to get a hold of the guides on his radio, so let's hope he has a little bit of luck.